At the party, the music pounded through the walls, glasses clinked, and laughter rolled across the room like waves. I lingered at the edge of the crowd, tried to seem engaged while feeling completely detached. My wife, Claire, was at the center of it all, drifting effortlessly from group to group, her laughter spilling freely, her hand lightly brushing shoulders, belonging to everyone and no one at once. I told myself I was overthinking, yet the tight knot in my chest said otherwise. When she finally returned to me, her cheeks glowing from champagne and compliments, she leaned in. Her perfume, once comforting, now felt suffocating. She tilted her face toward mine, lips parting for a kiss. For the first time in our marriage, I turned away. "Not tonight," I said, my voice calm but icy enough to freeze her smile. The shock on her face could have won an award. Claire wasn't used to being refused. Not by me, not by anyone. Her eyes flicked over my face, searching as if I were a stranger wearing her husband's skin. Then she straightened her dress, laughed too loudly, and brushed it off as though I just told a bad joke. But I hadn't. For months, maybe years if I was honest, I had been disappearing. Every dinner, every social event had become her stage while I lingered in the shadows, quietly applauding as she took the spotlight. It wasn't her attention-seeking that hurt. It was the cold indifference that followed us home. Behind closed doors, the warmth had vanished. Conversations were reduced to brief exchanges. Intimacy became routine, scheduled, rushed, devoid of life. I stayed, convincing myself it was temporary, that perhaps work stress or exhaustion had dulled her spark. But the truth seeped in slowly. The way she lingered in conversation with colleagues, the late-night messages she turned face down on the table, the space she deliberately placed between us in public as if acknowledging me were optional. That night at the party, something inside me shifted. It wasn't anger, it was clarity. Pulling away wasn't revenge. It was survival. Claire tried to cover over the awkwardness by dragging me into a friend's conversation, pretending nothing had happened. They laughed and toasted while I stood there, detached, my mind elsewhere. She grazed my arm once, lightly, but I didn't lean in. The current that had once drawn me to her was gone. Later, at home, the silence was louder than the party had been. She tossed her purse on the counter. "What was that back there?" Her tone wasn't concerned. It was irritated. "You tell me," I said, meeting her eyes. For the first time, she faltered, as if her script had vanished. I didn't yell. I didn't accuse. I waited. And in that pause, the truth rose, not in her words, but in the hesitation between them. "You embarrass me tonight," she finally said, arms crossed, bracing for a fight. I almost laughed. That was her takeaway. Not the months of distance, not the coldness, just that her flawless image had cracked in front of others. "Embarrassment isn't the problem, Claire," I said quietly. "Everything else is." She rolled her eyes. "You're being dramatic. You've been stressed. That's all." The deflection, the dismissal. But this time I didn't bite. "Do you even see me anymore?" I asked, outside the parties, outside the pictures. "When it's just us, do you notice me at all?" She blinked, caught off guard. Her silence spoke louder than words. For years, I've been the one clinging, bending, excusing. That night, I stopped. "Finally," she sighed, her polished facade slipping for a moment. "What are you wanting to say, Michael?" "Things have been different." "Different? Fine. But couples go through rough patches." "That's not it." "Rough patch," she repeated lightly. But I remembered every ignored text, every empty stare. Every night she scrolled her phone while I sat invisible across the table. "It means something," I said. "It means I've been waiting for you to choose me, and you haven't." Her jaw tightened. Guilt flickered and vanished. "You're imagining things," she muttered, voice wavering. "No, Claire," I said. "I'm finally seeing clearly." Silence fell heavy between us. I half expected confession, acknowledgement, but she turned away, washing dishes that didn't need washing. That was her answer. That night, I didn't sleep beside her. I lay awake in the guest room, staring at the ceiling, hollow, yet strangely free, because the betrayal wasn't a single moment, a secret, a kiss. It was the years of absence. The time she chose everyone and everything else over us. By morning, I knew what I had to do. When she came downstairs, hair tied back, phone in hand, I didn't waste words. "Claire," I said, "this isn't working anymore." Her head snapped up. "You can't be serious." "I've never been more serious," I replied. Last night wasn't punishment. It was the first time I stopped pretending. She opened her mouth, but no excuses came, maybe because she knew I was right. And in that stillness, I realized something. The greatest betrayal wasn't hers. It was mine, for staying silent, for letting it happen for so long. When I walked out the door, I didn't feel anger. I felt clarity. Because sometimes betrayal doesn't roar in with scandal. Sometimes it creeps in quietly, in the fading of love, until one night, with the music pounding and the world watching, you finally step back and whisper, "Not tonight."